Welcome back. I've been doing fairly poorly in chess recently. At least that's the feeling that I have, and I've lost a bunch of rating points on Lichess and in my daily games, and in my last rapid game, as you can see down here, I'm down under 1300 for the first time in a while, and I'm really not sure how to correct that other than to continue working at it, and maybe I can't correct it. That's possible. A lot of new players have joined the chess world recently, and some of them are pretty good, and some of them are pretty young, and they're studying, and they're getting better, and their minds are still developing, and that's exciting for the future of chess. It's just it's not quite as exciting for my future in chess, but I am going to keep trying, and today I'm going to try to solve some puzzles. I'm going to click on this. Last time I ran into a bunch of problems with the settings. I think I've got it sorted out now where it just shows my rating and tells me which color is going to move, and it doesn't give me hints or anything. Okay, I am playing with the black pieces. I am down on material by a whole queen, it looks like. So I think I need to check and maybe keep checking. Although I don't think they can checkmate me immediately, but obviously if I don't do something soon, my opponent is going to win. I know I can check here, and my other rook is cutting off these squares. My knight and pawn are cutting off here. If I did check with the rook on h8, their king would only have one legal move. No, they could block with the knight. Let's revisit this. They check here. If they block with the knight, I can just take it because of my knight. And I think that would actually be checkmate. So let's say that they take this move, which again is their only legal move. Wait, I could still go. No, their knight is then guarding that square. Okay, let's try again. They come here. I could not check them here or here on the first or second move because of those pawns guarding those squares. So when the king comes down here to g5, my only remaining checks at that point would be, again, with the rook, which their knight could take, or with this knight, which their pawn could take, or with the knight down here on h7, but then their king would have two legal moves, either going back to where it was or going to h5. What am I missing? I'm probably missing something obvious. Because obviously if it went back to h4 or h5, I could move the knight back to where it is, and then that would be a check again. Okay, do I have any other? Oh, I do have another check. Is that just checkmate? Oh my goodness. Oh, that one move checkmate. Oh my. Oh, wow. Okay, that's a little embarrassing. A target time is 15 seconds, and it took me 2 minutes. Okay, but the good news is that we solved it. We figured it out. We have to look at all the checks, which I failed to do because I didn't see this one for a long time. Next puzzle. Okay, and this one, my opponent is up in exchange, and we're even on pawns. They're very close to promotion, so I have to be careful. But currently I have two pieces guarding the promotion square of that pawn, so I shouldn't be too worried about it. They are about to get this pawn if I'm not careful. It looks like they can get this one too. Do I have any checks? I do not currently have any checks, although their king is on a dark square, so maybe I can work on that. I don't have any checks. The only capture I have is this, but that looks really bad because they would get my rook, and then I would advance a pawn, and then they would promote, but then I would promote. Wait, maybe that's it. Let's see. If I take this pawn, will they take my rook? Because that's probably what I would do if I was playing with the white pieces. And then I advance this pawn. Oh no, they just get behind it. Okay, so that's not it. Okay, what if I push this pawn forward? Well, then they take this pawn. I can't push my e pawn forward, so it's not that, pretty sure. That leaves the c pawn. Well, I mean, I've got two other pawns, but what if I push the c pawn forward? That's threatening this rook. I assume it would move in front of my pawn, but then I advance the b pawn to protect it, and the b pawn would be protected by my rook on b8. Maybe that's it. Maybe I push the c pawn. I don't know where the rook would go, but again, if I were playing with the white pieces, I would probably move it over. And then if I advance the b pawn, what do they play? I'm not sure. They might just take it with this rook, in which case I would take back, then they would get this pawn, and then I would be up the bishop, and I would be ready to get that pawn. But is that their only, do they have some other resource? They need to move that rook. I'm threatening it, right? And if they do something like come back and protect it, well, I'm just going to take it with promotion, then they'll take back, and then I'll push this pawn. All right, I'm not sure. This puzzle's probably rated around 14 or 1500, and it's got me stumped. The other things that I had thought of were pushing this bishop here to threaten that rook, but it just takes my e-pawn. Same thing if I come over here, it takes the e-pawn, and it's threatening my bishop. I guess I could come over here and get in front of this pawn, but then they can take this one, and then that one. Okay, I'm pushing the c-pawn. Oh, okay, it was that, and they did what I thought. Well, then the only thing that makes sense now is pushing the b-pawn to protect it. Oh, they took it. Okay, and I'll take back. Oh, they queened. Well, I'm going to take that too. Okay, I'm surprised they wasted the pawn there. Okay, I spent a little extra time on that because that seemed like kind of weak sauce, but I guess not. I know that one thing I have messed up in several games over the last year or so is having an advanced pawn and failing to utilize it correctly. Like I didn't push it when I should have, or I pushed it when I shouldn't have. So, this puzzle is timely for me. That is something I need to think about. All right, and we cracked 1400 on this puzzle run for the first time. Let's keep going. How much time? Okay. I don't know if I probably won't get to 1500. I'm playing with the white pieces. Okay, we're about even on material. Everybody's got a queen and a rook, 2 pawns. Well, I can take one of their pawns with check. And my rook's cutting off these squares, and my queen would be cutting off the 7th rank, so their king would have only 3 options to move. I don't know which one I would choose. What I would like to do is find a way to check where I could, pick off this rook. Well, not there, obviously, their queen would capture me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I could check from here somehow. No, again, their queen would take me. Wow, I'm not doing well at all in figuring this game out. Yeah, at first I was thinking about checking on the wait. I can check down here with my queen. I didn't see that, and that's what I failed in the first puzzle, was to look at all my checks. Let's look at all my checks. That one's pretty bad. This one is also bad, I'm positive. This one's okay, and the first one that I saw is okay, and I have this check and this check as well. For that matter, I also have a rook check down there, but I don't think that one is good. Let's go with the C8 check, because that cuts off the back rank and this and the diagonal. And it's so close that they can't block it. That's something I've been failing to look at too, is to check closer. I keep thinking, I can check way over here, but I can check right there. They can't block it. I'm pretty sure that only leaves them one legal move. And then would this be checkmate? Is this a mate in 2? I think it is, because neither one of my pieces are pinned. They don't have any pieces guarding those 2 squares. I'm not in check. Okay, let's do it. Oh, it stopped. And again, target time of 15 seconds. Okay, yeah, that's something I need to practice. So good job, algorithm, for sending me that puzzle. Keep going. Oh, now I am in check. All right. Oh, the bishop is pointed at the queen. I can't think of a reason not to take it. I'm gonna. Okay, I'm glad I responded quickly on that one. I probably should have spent a little bit more time just making sure, but this one says it's only been attempted 80 times. That's hidden behind my box here, but usually it's like 10,000 or 50,000. I think the lowest ones that I've seen are over 100, only been attempted 80 times. I'm guessing that the rating of 1574 is going to come down. Next. Okay, they have attacked my queen, but again, it's a hanging piece. Can't I just take it? Wait, if I take it, do they get to checkmate me? Or should I check them first? No, because then they'll just move toward my... Oh, if they move toward my knight, I can still take the bishop. Well, I should take the bishop first, though. See, if I take the bishop first, they can check me, but then I can bring the queen back, I think. Oh, I hope that's right. It was not, and I just lost most of the points that I gained on my previous puzzle. Well, I am going to go back and retry. Is it the check? Well, why didn't they come here, though? Wait, was it because my knight was hanging too? And now I take the bishop? Nope. All right. Well, I was way off. Oh, now it's this check. Wait. Okay, that was a new message. That was surprising to me. But that would have been the end of the puzzle. Let's go to the analysis board. At least that button is still there, but they've changed this whole, and that's all really confusing and distracting. Is there a way to get rid of that? I don't know what press Shift D to see all available hotkeys. Okay, I'll do that, because I didn't know that was a thing. All right, I don't think I'm ever going to use any of those. Okay, but the settings that I wanted to look at was, is there a way to get rid of those annotations? Because again, it's distracting. Oh, the review. Show best move, show played and best move speech bubbles. Well, that's off, so it's not that. Review as both, show move classification on board. Okay, well, I do not see a way to get rid of that annotations, but I do know that the bold moves in light gray here are the ones that were played, the correct ones. Oh, and the blunder is what I actually did? No, because that's not what I did. I did the queen taking the bishop. Anyway, so if I take the bishop, they get my knight? Is that it? Okay, that's what I didn't see to start the puzzle, is that if I take the bishop, my knight is hanging too. And my opponent is way up on material, looks like. They've gotten one of my rooks gone already, and I've only got one minor piece left. So if I take this bishop and they take my knight, then I'm down like 8 points of material. No, like 11 points of material, because they have an extra rook and 2 knights. Okay, so I failed to see the queen pointed at the knight, so it does make sense. Oh, it's mate in 2. Wait, that was mate at the end? I did not notice that. Okay, if they go to e7, they can't go to Okay, well that's embarrassing. I did not see that my queen was cutting off the entire d-file once my knight gets out of the way, because when I was looking at that, my knight was in the way, and I thought, oh, if I check here, they'll just go toward the knight. But they can't go toward the knight, because once I go there, my queen is cutting off the entire d-file. Okay, so they only have two choices, and either way, it's mate. If they go in to f8, then this is checkmate, and if they come up, then because what they did was come up, and this is mate. Because my knight cuts off this and my queen cuts off all of these. Oh, wow. All right, so I failed to see a bunch about that puzzle. Can we restart it? Okay. So I failed to see that my queen was covering the whole d-file, which would force the king to only 2 squares once I checked, and that either way this would be checkmate. Okay. I think I understand now. Very nice. Well, okay. Got to get those points back. Next. Okay, now in this one, I do not appear to be down any material except maybe a couple of pawns, but piecewise we're equal. But I do have a piece in trouble. I have a pawn in trouble. I can't get this bishop out. I mean, I can get it out over there, but they'll just take it. I can check them. Oh, my rook's guarding the square. Well, it's handy that my rook moved over here for some reason. Okay, so when I check them, they will only have one legal move, and then I can check them with the knight, and they'll have to move over, and this is mate. Okay, then let's do that. And that's checkmate. Okay, well, I got back some of those 11 points. Next. Okay, again, I am down on material. 2 minor pieces, my opponent is ahead. 2 knights. Well, then I'm going to guess I should check here with the rook, because my queen's right behind it. Again, I have a rook in an odd position. On this one, I immediately saw I have 2 rooks in odd positions, at least for me. And on this one, that immediately notified me that, oh, that rook is probably part of it, because I don't think I've ever had a rook on d7 in any game. Anyway, if I check there, they only have one legal move, and then I'll not bring my queen right behind it. I would bring my queen to d3, which would be checkmate, I think. Right here, because their knights are not guarding this square. Apparently still a little slow. And it gave me a couple of easier puzzles because I failed one. Nice. Next. I mean, this one seems cut and dried. I think I take the queen. When they take it, then I come get this pawn. They're going to come back. I'm going to get the pawn. They're going to come here. And I'm going to have to come back to get out of the way of my pawn. Or maybe here. I don't know. I'm going to take their queen. And then I'm going to go get their pawn. Does it matter? Wait, does it matter which direction I go to get the pawn? Or should I move my pawn first? Oh, that's the question. Should I move the pawn first? Because if I move my king, they could move the pawn. I have to take it here, then they come, but I still get out. What if I move the pawn first and they come closer, then I come over and they come closer, then I take the pawn, then I'm trapped in front of it. Okay, so I think I have to go straight toward it. If I go straight toward it and they follow me and I take the pawn and they follow me and then I come back out. Okay, well, I'm going to get the pawn then. Oh, they went that way. Okay, I take the pawn, they come here, I still get back out. They're trying to sneak in front of the pawn. I'm not going to let them, though. I'm going to come this way, so they'll have to come up, and then I'll start moving my pawn. Right, now I move the pawn. Well, that one was, the last move was really obvious, and I got 10 points even though I spent so much time. And this one's only been attempted 57 times. I'm getting a bunch of new puzzles today. That's weird. I should have been checking that on all of them. Next. I am going to look at my checks first, and I do have one here. They would not be able to get out to the E file. They would have to go to G8. No, they can't go to G8. Wait, that's just mate in 1, isn't it? They can't block that. And my knight and bishop are covering all of this, and my queen's covering that. I'm not in check, am I? I was supposed to get that in 12 seconds, but I wasn't expecting it to be so easy. And this one's only been attempted 58 times? Sorry, I'm gonna move my camera view. Yeah, you can see that 58, right? This is a whole bunch of these. It's given me like puzzles that have never been attempted before today. I moved the camera view just so you'd know I wasn't seeing things or misreading things because my prescription was wrong or, I'm losing my mind or something. But normally those are in the many hundreds, like 1,200, 1,800, or the thousands. So that's weird that I'm getting a bunch of puzzles that have rarely been attempted. Okay, next. And yes, in every video, I do find something about the interface that's distracting to me. That's just me. Get used to it. Okay, let's look at checks. I have a check with the knight here. I have a check with the knight here. I have 2 checks with the queen, and I can take this pawn, which is a check. So that's 5 checks, at least. Oh, I also have checks here and here with the queen, so 7 checks. I'm just going to go ahead and dismiss those 2 as really bad because they have the bishop, the rook, and the king guarding d2, and of course their king guarding c2. So I'm not going to look at those. What's the difference between these two checks? Is there any difference between those two checks? It looks like the rook could block. Okay, well, I stared at this a long time, and now I feel really, really not very smart because I discounted that check immediately, even though that's checkmate in one. And again, only 53 attempts on this puzzle. And of course, it has a 76% pass rate. Well, that's because most people are smarter than me and would not have discounted that check at the very beginning of looking at this puzzle because it's checkmate. Well, I'm glad I waited instead of just taking the pawn because I didn't know what to do. I waited and I used up a bunch of my time, but I found it. Okay, next puzzle. I'm missing that kind of stuff in my games too, by the way. That's really frustrating. I have a check here. I have a check here. I have a check here. Are those all the checks that I have? I think those are all the checks that I have. It looks like they just took my rook down here. Well, what do they do if I check here? They're probably not going to take it. Oh, they might because their rook is defended. If I check here, I assume they're going to take it. But what if I check with my queen? That leaves them only one legal move. Oh, also, my knight's hanging two different ways right now. But if I check with the queen, they have to move the king. And let's say they move it to d3. And then my knight's hanging three different ways. And if they take, then this equals up our minor pieces and their knight's not getting out. Maybe that's it. I'm going to take their knight. Okay. All right. That wasn't the way forward, but you can give it another try. I don't have time for another try. I'm going to go to the analysis board and find out what it was. It should have been g3. What? That's not g3. That's g6. Oh, it's their turn. Okay. Wow. All right. Well, it says that if they don't play g3 to block my... Oh, because they're in check. Okay, that's why the puzzle started with them moving the king, and they should have blocked with g3. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Had they blocked with g3, it says I would have taken it with the knight, and then they would have gone king to d2. But they didn't play g3. They played here, which gives me a mate in 3. If only I'll check here first. Again, okay, that leaves them one legal move, and it says now I would take their knight. Their only legal move is to take with the pawn. And bishop to f5 is mate. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, let's restart this puzzle here. And yeah, I'm over my time now, so whatever score I made it to, that's the score at the end of this puzzle, the end of this video. So this wasn't good because I thought I was going up a piece because when they would take there, I would take the bishop with check and then this knight's not getting out, so I would be up one minor piece because I have two bishops left. That's not the case. Case is I have a mate in 3, which is much better than going up a piece. Okay. I did figure out that they can't take my knight if I come in here first. They only have the one legal move. We'd figured that out. But I also thought that my attack would fizzle after I took this knight and they took back, but it doesn't because this is checkmate. Oh my goodness, because the bishop and the queen cut off everything. It helps that their own pieces are in the way. All right. I'm definitely rusty. It feels like I'm getting rustier all the time. And even though I'm doing chess stuff every day, even if I'm not able to make videos every day anymore. And this puzzle's only been attempted 64 times. Sorry, that's more than distracting. Something really strange is going on with the website. I have videos where I've looked at that before and I've moved my camera view and you've seen, oh, it's been attempted 78,000 times. Did they go through, maybe they swept their archives and reset all those numbers? Because all the ones, there might have been some I didn't look at that were in the video, but I guess my box would have been covering those. But there might have been a few that were rated, but all the ones that I looked at had been attempted fewer than 100 times, which is very, very odd. Let me know if you're seeing the same thing. Either way, thank you for spending your time here, and I'll see you next time.